My older sister has a ghost that has followed her around for years. I lived with her once for about 3 months, and so much weird stuff happened in that time. All my sister would say to me when I mentioned it was that her ghost didn't like me being there. Things like going to bed with everything locked up and switched off, and waking up in the morning with the back door open, lights on, and the kettle switched on. One night my sister and I were getting ready to go out, and I'd asked to borrow her liquid foundation. I used it and put it back where she kept her makeup. 10 minutes later, she's asking me for it, and it was nowhere to be seen. She accused me of taking it and made me buy her a new one and refused to listen to my side of the story. About a year or so later, when she was packing up to move to a new house, she found the makeup in a shoebox with some old letters. The shoebox was in a zipped up suitcase that was underneath her bed. But probably the most scared I ever felt was one afternoon when I was the only one in the house, which almost never happened as 4 other people lived there. I had arrived home from work and headed straight to the bathroom. All the doors and windows, etc., were closed. I was standing in the bathroom and started squeezing a pimple on my chin when a female voice in the hall said, "Stop picking your zits." It was loud enough and sounded real enough that I thought it was my sister, so I laughed and told her to F off and asked her what she's doing for dinner. No answer. I stuck my head out into the hall. No one there. I searched the house from top to bottom, and there was no one home. So I sat out on the front porch until someone else got home, because I didn't want to be in there alone. A buddy of mine lived in a really old building, built in the early 1800s, I believe, in a really old small town in Texas. His apartment was upstairs, and there were businesses downstairs. The whole building was originally a small factory of some sort that had been remodeled for some modern purposes. There were some obvious "this wasn't originally an apartment" type features, like a small door in his closet that seemed to lead to a strange empty space between the walls, with no real reason for existing. Sometimes the small door would randomly blow itself open with freezing cold air. You could sort of write that off as being due to the remodeling of the old building, and maybe not all the kinks of the ventilation and stuff had been properly installed. That's the kind of explanation he gave to the strange noises he would hear coming out of there too. He also would often find his windows open. Not windows he or his girlfriend had opened, just random windows around the apartment. He would always close them, and then later find them open again. He explained this away as faulty latches that had become loose over time. Not a huge deal. Then he stayed home from work one day, and he heard a window unlatch. Then a second later, he heard another window unlatch, then another, one after the other, in order, as if someone was walking through the living room, unlatching windows as they went. Then all at once, all of the windows fell open. So he noped it the hell out of there, and came back that weekend to investigate. Things seemed fine, and nothing weird happened for a while. Then about a month later, his girlfriend experienced the same thing when she was there alone. After a while they got kinda used to it. It was just weird windows. Then the final nail in the coffin came when they got a dog. The dog was a puppy, so was inherently happy and playful, always running around and doing puppy stuff. Except when the door in the closet blew open, or the windows unlatched. Then the dog would stand completely still, focus its eyes on something that nobody else in the room could see, and the dog's eyes would slowly track around the room, as if it was watching someone or something move through the room. Nobody could ever figure out what the dog was looking at. And it only did this right after some other ghost stuff started happening. They moved out after this happened a few times. I was awoken one night to a loud crash in my bathroom. I went in, and all of the things on my sink top were in the middle of the floor. I mean, about 3 feet away from the sink. Everything, not just one thing. Toothbrush, toothpaste, hair gel, face wash, E4, hand soap, all on the floor in the middle of the bathroom. What was even worse is that after checking out the bathroom, as I crossed the landing back to my room, I noticed a light had come on downstairs. I went down, and both the hall light and the living room light were on, except none of the light switches were in the on position. I had to click the switch on and off to make them switch off. I was living on my own at the time, and it freaked me out a little bit, but I'm still in the same house and have had no other experiences. I should add that the first reaction was a break-in, or in the case of the bathroom stuff, wind. However, all the doors were still locked and bolted from the inside, and no windows were open. Not to mention that the bathroom is a bulkhead bathroom, and has no windows anyway.